right, guys. Hi, welcome to episode 7 of the Punksylvania Punkcast. I'm Terry. I'm here with Bree and Laura. We have been, I just got back from vacation. If you saw the back of my neck, it is chewed, like mosquitoes and black flies and all this. Ugh. But I did get to see the comet. That was pretty cool. The skies are so dark that the stars are just amazing there. So I really had a blast. Yeah. And I got one more week, and this coming month, I'll be gone for another week. So I watched the IG. It was hilarious, ladies. So I want to say big football for taking.
Yes, you guys are welcome for, our
help us.
Embarrassment.
It was
providing you with some Thursday evening entertainment.
It was amazing. I laughed.
Thank you.
And I definitely will. Hopefully, we can do these a bit more often. Maybe switch it up, see what happens. But for now, the music scene, we kind of hear in little pockets. There's nothing going on. I kind of have to disagree a bit, especially for us. It's been really busy. There's new music still coming out all over. Sure, we can't see live shows and those. That completely sucks, but there's still shows happening right now. Barstool Preachers coming up August 1st at the Slackers and the Pie Tasters, and I think I'm missing some.
Catbite, my Philadelphia ska band, Catbite.
Yeah, doors are at 3:45, and you can get tickets right on the Slackers social media platforms. It's going to be awesome. I'm really looking forward to that one.
So yeah, and sometimes the music scene is taking a bit of a break. There's still lots of things happening beyond this music. Art, people are still, doing things, new mediums and everything like that, and using their talents to, make this world a better place. And I hope our next guest, which is Soma and Stacy, talk about the Sidewalk project. So check it out.
I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania. I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania.
Hey everyone, I am Laura, joined with Terry and Bree as always. Welcome to the first half of the episode, off the deep end. We're joined with Soma and Stacy of the Sidewalk Project. Hey ladies.
Hey ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you for joining us.
I'm super excited for this episode, actually.
Very good.
Yeah, so maybe for some viewers who don't quite know what the Sidewalk Project is, you guys want to kind of explain that a little bit?
Sure.
Yeah.
You want to go first?
You
or
go,
should
Mom.
I go?
You
Am I
go.
doing it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the Sidewalk Project, we like to call it a social activist arts organization. And we work directly on the street with the houseless community. And, we used to throw these really big parties. And it was all about art and music and connection and really bringing people together to really create a sense of community. And we'd have food and we'd have clothing and hygiene kits and all of these different things. But we happen to be in the middle of a pandemic, so throwing a party is really a bad idea. So we've changed the way that we work. And now we go tent to tent, and we've continued to work in the midst of COVID. And we're really functioning quite a bit like a public health organization while still continuing to do art and do music and mental wellness. And I'll let Stacy talk a little bit about some of the mental health aspect to what we're doing. But we're also doing harm reduction, and we're getting masks out to people and COVID care kits. And we go along, with our and weed.
Yes.
We go along and we have our carts and, our face shields, and we work very carefully, to be very safe. But, we're committed to continuing direct services and, against all odds.
I think it's really powerful that you said houselessness and not homeless. Because I don't know, like that touched something in me. I think that's important. Because there's like a negative connotation, maybe to the word homelessness. And to say, without a house, I don't know, like that struck a chord with me. I felt like that was really powerful.
Communities we work in are communities. It's not just like one person against the world. These are real communities of people that have been
Absolutely.
and like in a place like Skid Row for 100 years, I think. You know what I mean? So that is a very deep. Just because there isn't like a house over your head doesn't mean there isn't like a community of people living together.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was really powerful, and I wanted to say that.
Glad that you pointed that out and that resonated with you. As you're really mentioning, there's a lot of stigma with the word homeless, and people talk about it as if homeless, people even say the homeless problem, and that, extends to people being thought of as a problem.
Yeah.
Right? So we don't think people are problems.
Right. Absolutely not.
Yeah.
And we knew that there was a place for us to, one of the reasons why we started Sidewalk as an art kind of group was because we come from our background of art. I'm a musician. Stoma is an incredible writer and visual artist. So, and Emily is, makes these bathing suits, and she's just like punk rock and paintbrushes. She's like just a go-getter. So we knew that we have all been in places where, art coming back into our lives kind of helped us get back on the right track of who we're supposed to be in life. And maybe if we reached out that way to our houseless neighbors and got, even one person on the right track to creating art again, knowing that that's what makes your spirit well when you're an artist, is creating, was one of the main driving forces to creating the Sidewalk project. Yeah.
So much so. I kind of want to echo that too, and even kind of talk about, what you're doing, Stacy, with Take Care Tuesday as well. Because mental wellness is such a big part of what we care about. And so with art and music, we really believe that we can, boost our spirits and create community. It's definitely a community building exercise. And Stacy's doing these great things now in the midst of COVID, because we've all had to pivot, right? Like, and change how we're functioning. One of the really cool things that Stacy's doing with another one of our members, Beebs, is these every Tuesday she broadcasts. I'll let you talk about it. How about you talk about the thing that you do?
Well, a few years ago, I got the opportunity to get better. I was addicted to Xanax, and I was doing a lot of blow and partying, and I was afraid to step into who I'm supposed to be in life. I didn't know how to be strong and powerful and positive and all of those things. I had no idea what that meant. So when I got the opportunity to get better, which Soma, she and Mike and Aaron from Fat Records all stepped in and kind of sent me to a detox and got me better. And when I came out with what it felt like was so many answers on how to live a good, positive life on this planet. For whatever reason, it felt like the universe reached in and was like, that old way of thinking cannot exist anymore. So you've got to, find what this positive is. And so I started walking down this path, and it's been a huge passion of mine. It's in my songs. It's in everything that I do and everything that I talk about. Soma can attest to that. It's like, I get so worked up about it because it just means so much to me to be able to help other people out of misery. And so during COVID, Beebs and I, Beebs is also a very spirit connected, beautiful little, goddess in the world. And she and I live the same kind of way in a reality that we've created for ourselves and not forced into. It sounds like I'm some crazy hippie, but it's like I've chose to adapt a different kind of reality to my life. And when I see things the way that I see things, everything is working for me, even the hard lessons. So yeah, when we decided that during COVID, it was like, what can we do to give back? And I had cancer, and I've been through so much that, like, me being out on the street right now isn't the best idea. My boyfriend's dad has cancer right now, so he's high risk, and my stepdad's high risk. So how could I give back still? And we decided to go online and start talking about the things we do to live good, happy lives, even when it's hard, you know? So that's what we've been doing. And we've been starting slowly to build a community of people that want to be there at that time and feel heard and feel connected. And if there's even one person that we're helping with it, then I feel like, you know, I feel like the universe really wanted me to go out and do this. I don't know what else to say, because I've been through hell, you know what I mean? So like coming out of it was like, right, I have a platform. I need my message to be about taking accountability, not blaming a shitty life on so many other things, doing the work to make myself well, journaling, meditating, doing yoga, eating well, learning from my mistakes and not breaking because of them. So it's been a real big gift to be able to give back this way. And Beebs and I have decided that, you know, once things clear up a little bit more, that we're going to get together and do them together from like a kind of studio atmosphere. So it's like a real, you know, we could bring in other guests, or we could bring in other visuals and things like that to make it a real kind of show, but interactive, you know what I mean? So we're keeping that connection. And so I'm always learning. It actually got me into taking a course about the science of happiness. And I just to see if I'm on the right track, if like the things that I talk about, that feel like I got these answers from the universe somehow, really are the answers on how to live a good, happy life, even when it's hard, y'all. I had cancer, you know what I mean?
I definitely want to commend you. I, being somebody who's been clean now for 9 years, it's definitely a journey. It's not an easy one. When you go in, it's scary. It's, you know, and you come to these realizations of, oh shit, I did these things.
Oh God. Oh God. Yeah, I know.
Like,
I know.
You know, and to finally find that place of happiness, and to still see that you still have a huge journey ahead of you. This was just a small blip of a much bigger picture and a much greater journey. That's awesome. So congratulations.
Thank you.
It's fantastic.
To you too.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then
It
like,
makes total sense. I get it. I saw this with your last album. I definitely want to say the ride to me was definitely almost like a spiritual journey. It was, we'd spoken with Denny, and she said it was about, you know, if you're going to sing something, you might as well sing something that you want to let the world know and feel and see, and have it be our message, not petty shit. And, you know,
it's so true.
Yeah, and you're doing that, and that's fantastic. And your project's a great idea. You know, I'm from Canada. I come from a really rural town. There's not a lot of houselessness here. There is, but not so much in my community. But we do have some outreach centers and, like, you know, food banks, things like that, stuff that I like to support personally, because I'll never know if I'll be in that same boat. You know, I always say we are just one disaster from losing it all.
100%.
We need to be, as humanity and humans, helpful to our fellow men and women and people out there. So, you know, awesome. But definitely, I'm going to ask the question that someone like me, who is in rural Ontario, Canada, how can I help? How can I lend support to say your cause?
So we have different chapters all over started. So if you wanted to start your own sidewalk project, we have the How You Do It guide, and offer extreme support in doing that. We even have one in Australia called the Footpath Project. Do you want to talk more about it, Soma?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we say that wherever there's a sidewalk, there can be a sidewalk project.
Yeah.
You know, and there is, you know, there are people who are living on the street all over the place, and people who need support, and like you said, with food banks, and it just sort of depends on what is going on locally. Like Stacey said, we have the Footpath Project in Australia, and we can, you know, sort of mobilize people, you know, through, we've done so much through social media. It's like so amazing what you can do on the internet. But, you know, I mean, some of the ways you can support is also through what you're doing right now, spreading awareness. You know, and I would actually say, I mean, in Canada, it's a little bit different. I don't know what's going on as far as what people are doing, what the government is doing. The United States, it's not so good. You know, we've been talking about how, you know, housing is a human right, and, you know, the government is not taking care of the people here. We actually just signed on to a letter, and if you don't mind, I'd like to bring that up right now, if this is an okay time to talk about it, because this is something that you could
Absolutely.
support.
This is a platform for you guys to talk about exactly this.
Whatever
so go
you
for
want,
it.
absolutely.
It would be great. So, you know, there's researchers have estimated that, you know, in the United States, there's going to be 23 million people who are facing eviction in the next few weeks. And, you know, that's because the unemployment checks and the moratoriums, they're coming up in July. And so we signed on to this letter that was created by a group called Human Impact. And there's like 650 people and 50 organizations that have written to different health officials and governors. And what we're asking for is extend and enact eviction and foreclosure moratoriums, and cancel the rent and mortgage and utility payments, and use the open hotel rooms that are just sitting there and put people in them. You know, it's so fascinating when you've got people on the street and then empty rooms, right? It's like we have the capacity to fix some of this stuff, and then also yeah, it's really sad, right? And then one of the other big asks is end the criminalization of people who are experiencing houselessness, including encampment sweeps, because this is all, you know, it's a health crisis right now. So if you're interested, if anyone is interested in, you know, you can continue to sign on to this. You can reach out to the Sidewalk Project right now, because we actually believe it's really important not just to offer, you know, the care that we're giving, but also to reach out and advocate for people on a larger level. You know, it's like a little bit of a responsibility when we see what's actually going on. And, you know, like you said earlier, I can't remember, I'm not sure what your name was actually.
Bree, maybe?
Maybe Bree. But you were saying it's just like that this can happen to anyone, right? So that's sort of like taking ownership.
I think that was Terry, maybe.
I'm Terry.
Okay.
Terry.
Yeah, Terry. Yeah, but right, there's like such a thin line between having a house and not having a house, and having that awareness so that we can sort of really advocate for our communities on a larger level.
Yeah.
So I would say that. And then like Stacey said, you know, you can start a Sidewalk project anywhere, and we can support you in that process, because, you know, one of the other things that we say is when systems fall down, then people stand up.
That's an awesome message.
Or even if you know of anybody houseless in your area, if you wanted to, you know, get kits together, we could tell you what kind of things to put together to facilitate giving back a little bit. I was meditating. I meditate with one of my neighbors, and she said, like, the last thing in like this list of 10 things you have to do to be spiritually enlightened is giving back. And I just loved that. It's because it's so part of being well that you could give back somehow, you know. But even doing this and raising awareness is huge. So thank you guys for having us.
It's such a good point, Stacey, too. Like, I mean, people can make their own DIY masks. I mean, punk rockers are so great at DIY, right? Like, that's what we're good at. So we know how to do. Yeah. So it's like making our own masks or whatever it is. And, you know, a lot of us just carry little kits in our car. So, you know, if you're driving down the street and someone, you know, you know, often on the side of the road where you stop, people will be asking for money. You can also just offer a kit with maybe a mask and some soap and some snacks and, you know, a bottled water or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you find when you're out there, do you feel the community's being receptive? Maybe not so much like the houselessness community, I'm sure, is just happy to have people and talk to them. I feel that a lot of it is that communication piece that's missing, just faces all the time, and to actually have somebody sit there and talk is such a huge difference. Just even right now during COVID, day to day, we don't spend nearly as much time talking to each other. Do you know that from them when you're talking to people or creating art? Do you see like sparks come in, or even if it's just that little twinkle in the eye? I'm sure that's a huge driving force behind all that.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. We've had a few murals that have happened even in the midst of COVID, and some of our artists have created murals in Skid Row, and people still wearing masks, and some of the people in the community have come and brought their hand drums and sat together, and yeah, I mean, it's so important that
staying together.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I think it's important to realize too is that like we're all human and we're all in this together. There's no reason that anybody is different, and music and art are such connection topics and pieces in general that it just makes it, I think, a little bit easier to kind of find yourself on the same playing field as somebody else. And if that's what's good, if the hand drum and just a friendly hello, here's a mask and some stuff is going to change somebody's day, then why not?
So easy.
I will say though, like working in Skid Row, we kind of just showed up, and we're like, at the beginning, we were just kind of like trying to give out snacks and stuff. Remember, Soma? And then, forming that relationship with that community, they pulled Soma aside, and they, the Skid Row Council, and was like, what are your intentions here? Do you want to hear what we really need? Do you really want to work with us, or are you just going to blow some bullshit up our asses and make yourself feel better? You know what I mean? So,
oh yeah, it's like seriously, what Stacey's talking about is like a real thing. They like held me to the task, and I took that so seriously because I have never been. I mean, there was like some very powerful people in the Skid Row community that asked. It was like sort of like when you maybe go home to, I don't know, your loved ones that you've been dating, and their parents like interrogate you. What are your intentions with my daughter? It was like one of those kind of tones. Like I take it so seriously. So yeah, absolutely. Like, it's sort of like understanding, I think that, you can't just walk up to anyone's tent and sort of take your liberties in someone else's community. You have to understand, you have to ask permission, and not make promises that you're not going to keep. And
100%. Yeah.
No, I'm sure they've seen people over the years, different faces and stuff like that. Like, and you guys as well. Like, I'm sure that you're noticing new people, new friends. Do you feel the community's growing or shrinking? Is that kind of
growing? Pardon? I would say our community, Sidewalk community, is growing. We have more volunteers and more chapters than we've ever had. It seems, we're kind of organizing in a way now that it is just really cool to see how efficient things can be when we're organized. And it's just really working, and it's growing more and more every day, like no kidding. Not the other day, stop it. There's a fight going on here. The dog is very upset that the cat is here. The cat is 19 years old. He's been with me since I was 26. And when he wants something, he wants it too. So they're very pushy animals. Well, what I was going to say is that we have a partner that works with the Department of Mental Health, and she came on and told us how there was very little hope for the severely mentally ill that are houseless, that there's no long-term care, and it just like killed my spirit. And it's like, so we started throwing around ideas. How do we affect that kind of real change, And then the George Floyd Black Lives Matter kind of thing happened, and defunding the police. So maybe there is a chance where we can, so that's really a passion for me, is to figure out, because there's so many people out on the street that are severely mentally ill, that, you know, it's, and how do you help them, you know? So we're really interested in, I know that I, on my end, am really interested in trying to figure out ways to affect change in that way, which seems impossible. You know, I mean,
Yeah, we have some really pretty big conversations about the intersectional aspects of the houseless community, you know, with racial justice and sex workers and mental illness and advocacy for drug users. And we do harm reduction as well. And we work in a very big way also with sex workers who live on the street. And we've put together these kits for sex workers that have a lot of sort of like cleaning supplies and condoms and masks and all of those things, and also offered protocols so that people can work safe. Because some of you know that I'm a dominatrix, I'm a sex worker, and so that's a very big passion for me to work with my community who lives on the street.
Sure.
And then, you know, doing harm reduction. You know, I'm a former drug user. I'm 4 years clean. And so, you know, it's really important for us to give back to the communities that we understand and care for from our hearts, you know. And so, you know, we actually just got approved by the city of Los Angeles to be a needle exchange.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, that's huge.
Really big, really big deal. And it was actually, and you know, Stacy and I are our whole community is super excited about this. That it's the first one in 26 years to be approved by the city to be a mobile exchange. Oh, wow. And so that's part of what we're doing when we go tent to tent, is offering harm reduction supplies. And it's like a whole big process, and you know, there's a lot to it, you know, setting all of that up. And that's why we just got an office, so that we
just got a new office.
Yeah. So we can move forward with that. But you know, really, along with all of that, you know, like Stacy was mentioning, after, you know, what happened with George Floyd, and then, you know, all of, you know, what's going on with this social revolution, you know, we really believe a big part of what we're doing is racial justice work too, because it's, you know, the people that live on the street, it is disproportionately Black and brown people because of systemic racism. And so we're really committed to learning as much as we can as possible and empowering the community, and not just coming in and being white saviors, and, you know, doing everything that we can to empower people within the community to empower their own community as well. So that's very important to us, to continue to have conversations around that, and into funding the police and the people's budget, and which we're very much supportive of.
Yeah.
There's a political aspect to Sidewalk Project in an anarchistic way. You know what I mean? It's like, we'll get in there to make some change, but we also know we got to get in there to fucking voice some opinions and to let people know what the needs really are for people. I mean, figuring out houselessness is, figuring out how to save houselessness is like the biggest puzzle in the world. Like, I don't know how to absolutely fix it. I don't know how to absolutely fix it. I think a lot of people do love living outside. People love living outside. Soma has talked greatly about wanting to get land or a house that we can, you know, let people a lot. Even if we got a lot, it doesn't even seem that far away, where we can get some people that want to have showers once a week or something, and bathrooms, and
just like a home base
garden, kind of like a community where they can pitch tents and not be afraid of having their shit stolen from them every night. A community that governs itself. If you want help, we can facilitate help for you. If you wanted drug diversion, you know, some way to get off of detox. If you wanted a fundamental change, we could help that, but we're not asking anybody to do that. It would be, you know, you would have to be kind of vetted you know, to be accepted in some sort of way. But that's like the dream, is, you know, to get a lot and let people continue living the way they live, but safely and in a way that they can govern themselves. I think that might be, you know, Soma has been thinking about it and talking about it for years now. But it's like, it makes so much sense to me, you know, like, and it's not that far out. Like, if we raised enough money to get a lot, we could really get that going, because there are other services and other people out there that have the showers, that have the bathrooms. You know, having the gardens set up where you could grow your own fucking food.
Your garden.
Seems to me, yeah, my community gardens, which is one of the things the universe told me when I got off of pills, was the community gardens are the source of fixing the world for some reason. I don't know why. I was like, community gardens. But yeah, you know, so maybe it's for artists. Maybe, who knows? Maybe we're not there yet, but it's definitely a big dream to get that kind of new way of thinking going, because most government programs don't work for people that are houseless. It's like it's a rigmarole. It's a never-ending cycle of bullshit. It's bureaucracy that doesn't make sense to the human spirit. And it's a hard way to exist, you know, or having some religion-based group come in and tell you, well, we'll help you if you know, stay in this, you know, and pray every day. It's like, fuck, dude, we don't want to make anybody do any of that shit.
Right.
You know, you don't even
that
have to be
also
sober.
makes it difficult to like want to make a change. You know what I mean? Is being forced to have to do something. That should be something that you grow into on your own, you know? With of course help from other people, but you shouldn't ever have to be forced into anything, and it's not fair. So I love that whole idea. I think it's
punk
great.
rock commune. I feel like that's like the three of our.
It is like a commune.
Yeah.
We talk about it all the time,
Our
man.
goal,
Punk rock kibbutz.
Well, yeah, if we could, you know, find the right people to give it a shot and really be the model for it.
Oh yeah, we always say there's going to be an application process.
You know, I might have to be an application process, but it would be incredible if it was, you know, an artist from the houseless community, and it was an artist situation where, you know, we were able to get those artists art scene in the world, because Soma and I are lucky enough to have a platform to get the art into the world. And you know, we really have seen some of that happen, which is incredible, you know, like, so to continue that and have a kind of commune where you could still live outside and still be houseless, you know, but we'll have garbage pickups, you know, once a week, and we will have showers once a week at least, you know, like, means some decency. And I bet we would affect real change and people wanting to have hope for something a little bit better for themselves.
And when you're surrounded by positivity like that, it makes you want to be positive and do things to help out and contribute to that cause. So I love this all. I think it's awesome.
Okay. And I think one of the small part of that when we started camp, like everyone, when the festival we were throwing, everyone was ready to like roll up their sleeves and pitch in, and it was mind-blowing how much.
Yeah, it was such a weird feeling that like
one goal, and it was incredible.
Yeah, you want to help us, yeah, because we want it too. So it's just such a great feeling to know that like you've got people from literally everywhere saying, yeah, you know, let's fucking do this. Let's help you do this. Like Bree said, let's roll our sleeves up. Whatever we have to do, we're gonna make it happen. And it's nice to see. I mean, they're totally separate things, but
well, absolutely.
That common sense of community to just, you really need that to make a change and to build,
get better,
to build up your
want
cause.
something more for yourself. Yeah. And when you are an artist and you're creating, it gives you a sense of fucking purpose again. You know, it always will give you a sense of purpose. Every time I've been down and out, my mom has said, Stace, you got to pick your guitar up. You got to pick it up. And it's like, I don't want to, but I do. And it always saves my life. It's me saving me. You know what I mean? It's just really a huge gift. I wanted to say, like, one of the first times I quit drugs, everybody around me quit drugs, and then I was like the only one still doing them, and I was like, I can't do this anymore, you know what I mean? So like I had to get better. That was when I was a teenager, so I know that like also being around people that are wanting better for themselves will kind of help you walk in that direction, if that's you know, I only say that because I've seen it in my own life, you know.
No, I 110%. You know, you surround yourself with the people that you want to put out your message with. It's kind of been my saying throughout COVID's been, I want to come out of my world better than how I left it. So when I come back, when this finally ends, I can do something that was a little bit better than how I imagined. Now, Soma brought in a really good piece. You talked a little bit about preventative, I don't want to say medicine, but like preventive actions towards not getting the community sick. And that's been, you know, preventative medicine for me has been a very big thing. I run, I eat well, I do things that keep me healthy. And the fact that you're providing these essential, you kind of don't think it's condoms to really be, oh, well, they're a dime somewhere. But for a sex worker on the street, that's incredibly important. That can mean the difference between life and death. And I can only imagine the amount of lives you guys are saving right now just by doing this. Like, the number to me, like, mind blowing. Yeah. So, you know, no. I do think preventative medicine, doing those outreaches, the mental health aspect, getting trained people that know what they're talking about. You know, so many times in therapy, my role has always been try to be as honest as I can with my therapist. Sometimes I didn't always want that. But, you know, I find trained people definitely know how to get that from you. And, you know, the more trained people you get out there to get their message out and kind of help them, I think you guys are going to explode even more. So that's awesome.
Thank you.
Very cool. So what's kind of your hope in the next, say, maybe after COVID as to what, you know, the Sidewalk project will look like?
It's a little bit hard to say after COVID.
I know we're still in the middle of it.
Yeah, in some ways, I don't know about you, Stacey, but I'm trying not to think too much after COVID because I feel like it's super important to really have creative thinking in the midst of COVID right now, because we actually don't know how long this is going to last. And if we're future thinking too much, it almost it's almost a little bit of hopeful fairy tale right now. I feel like it's really, really important to be here right now in this situation. But at the same time, I do have very, very big hopes for what Stacey was talking about, where we create this almost like kibbutz community. And that maybe that's sort of like our 5-year plan, you know, the really big
I don't think
thing
it's
that we
too
want
far
to
out.
do. And that might even be something that we can do in the midst of COVID, you know, because,
you know, it might be cheaper now to rent a lot from somebody because that, you know, it's not being used for anything and people are losing so much money that, you know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
I don't know what the insurance would look like or what, you know, how to build that out. But we also are planning to do, my big dream is to do like a street aid where we get all the bands that we know to perform and people donate money, obviously that kind of thing. So we can have, but we need the infrastructure behind that. Where is that money going to go? And I think that would be towards what Soma, her dream is, and that's the community. So those are our big, those are our big goals, is to, you know, get artists on our side to help raise money to really affect some big change. And try new things.
And those are kind of the more local Los Angeles plans. But at the same time, we're in the midst of redoing our website, and we're really excited about that. And we actually think that that's going to help us with growing the Sidewalk project as a community and a movement throughout the United States and maybe even globally. We've worked in Malta, we've worked in Australia. And we've had communication with people in London, and you've expressed an interest in Canada. And we do think that this is a movement that anyone, like we said earlier, if there's a sidewalk, there's a potential for a sidewalk project. And it really is about breaking down barriers between people, and that knowing that, we can drop the stigma between the house and the houseless, the housed and the houseless, and really just open what's in the human heart, which is really natural generosity. We can all tap into that and sort of care for each other, and kind of even just mutual aid, just conversations of mutual aid, so that's sort of like the maybe a bigger picture movement idea.
Yeah, I find, you don't need much to just get on that human level with people. It's, to give a bottle of water is really so easy. You don't really even think about it. Like when I'm walking downtown Toronto, you see houselessness while you're going towards, they don't have a camp, so they're spread out. But, I never had the thought in my head to just carry 2-3 bottles of water. And it's such an easy thing. And, now I do. Now, next time I'm going to go, I'm going to have a backpack, and I'll have some water in it and granola bars or whatever. But I'm glad you guys are here today to actually educate us too on the things. Is there anything else that, you could think that I could bring with me in my bag that, I know feminine hygiene products are definitely
always good.
Socks are gold.
Socks
are gold.
Mm-hmm.
We've been trying to get people's immune system boosted. So, oranges, if you could get any kind of fruit into anybody's systems, that's a good one.
Hand sanitizer.
Hand sanitizer.
One of the big things we say is if you need it, they need it.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
But the really sort of batteries are helpful.
Big time. Yep.
Backpacks.
Or, I don't know where you guys work, or if you have to work right now too, but we have a lot of people that just collect supplies in different places. They just put up a sidewalk project thing, and they ask for, tampons or socks, and people and businesses around always want to help, so if you ever wanted to donate to a local shelter or anything like that, you could collect goods and deliver to, anything that's near you, or you could just do it on your own and take it out, make little kits to people, and just, if you wanted to, yeah.
I love how you're still not telling people what to do in this, that's amazing to me. Scream do this, people, do it now. But you guys are
you have to be sober to get this. It's no. In fact, we want you to be safe in using the drugs you're using. So maybe here's some clean needles so you don't have to hurt yourself or hurt anybody else around you. We want to facilitate that, instead.
It's such an important thing to bring up too. And if you are using drugs, please don't use alone. Have a buddy that you can talk to. And if anyone needs Narcan, we have Narcan. So you can reach out to the Sidewalk Project if you don't have access to Narcan. We can get it to you, or we can connect you with someone locally who has Narcan.
Oh, that's fantastic. We hear, sadly, the tales of, friends we've lost, people that we knew who have died to this horrible affliction, and had a buddy been there, had they had Narcan. So yes, in Canada, we're lucky. We can go to the pharmacy and they give it to us for free. I don't know if that's like that in the States, but you guys providing that is fantastic. So again, thank you. It's such a wonderful cause, really. I can only imagine the hope that it's going to bring to the community. Even maybe right now it's a little hard because of COVID, but keep doing what you're doing, because it's reaching. I've heard about the Sidewalk Project for a few years now, but it's kind of just me. But to really hear that it can just be me, I don't need an army of people behind me. I can enact change in such a small yet huge way. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
We have a meeting every Saturday night at 8 p.m. on Zoom. And if people want to join us, it's a really good way to become part of the community and be resourced around organizing, because we all share ideas and resources, and we do education together. We have speakers come in, and yeah, it's a real good time. And one of our guys always ends the meeting playing guitar, and it's just real sweet.
We have PD. He's the best guy. PD's been my assistant lately. I've been telling him things that I need to have done, and he texts me every morning, Stacy, you've got to do this, this, and this. It's like, oh, thank you. I need that extra help. You know what I mean? It's just like, but he is just a great guy, and he really has found community within Sidewalk, you know. And so many people have. It's incredible. Soma and I talk about how it's kind of like, you know, we're the founders, but at the same time, it's kind of out of our hands. It's taking on a life of its own, and people are leading and showing up in ways that are just awe-inspiring.
Absolutely.
And that has to be, like, for you guys, you know, truly, like, gratifying to see that, like, people picking up and like wanting to take charge with something that you've kind of created and like planted for them.
It's rad.
Yeah, we made it, and it's not ours anymore. It belongs to other people and to the community, and that's exactly what you want to happen when you create something, right?
For sure.
Yeah,
that's the dream.
Yeah, you want everybody to enjoy a piece of it. That's kind of, as an artist, that's
and have a voice in it.
Yeah.
Have a voice in it. So like these Saturday meetings, everybody has a voice and an opinion, and it's kind of like, do we agree on that or do we not agree on it? And we kind of all kind of go with the consensus of what the majority of people agreeing on it is. It's incredible. It's incredible to watch. It really is, because you know what I mean? Like that first day we went to Skid Row with some oranges and water and shit, to now is like, it's crazy, and it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger because the want to help is incredible.
I think that's what the world needs right now too. Like, get out there and show that, you know, you're human, and it feels really good to just give even a little bit. It always makes you. It's like potato chips. Like, you never want to just give a little. You want to just keep going after that, you know.
It's
and
true.
Then before you know it, the whole bag is gone, and you feel great.
I love
that.
It
brings happiness to yourself too. It really does, to give back. It really, 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 really does. It. I guess how to make yourself happy is making somebody else happy. You know. So getting one of the things we say, Sidewalk Project, is happiness grows as it's shared, and that's one of the things Soma and I. You know, if you knew any of our past history, we've been friends for a really long time now, but we met doing blow together and drinking all night at punk rock bowling, and kind of, you know, throwing up on each other all of our damage, you know what I mean? And like, our trauma. And we just kind of bonded over that. And, you know, we always, we partied together really hard, but we've always been great friends. But like, you know, when we were right before we were 40, we were like, we're going to get better. We're not going to do this anymore. After we're 40, we're going to change the world. And the universe stepped in, and we really both changed our lives right around that same time. And now this is what we're doing. It's incredible. You know, one of the things I say in my Take Care Tuesdays is, the words that we use to describe ourselves, the words that we put out into the universe, become reality, become our reality. What we think about really is what we become. So you better choose, you know, the things that you use to define yourself. Yeah, wisely. I mean, no shit. Like in my song "Simple Girl," there's a line in the bridge that says, an expensive price, and I used to pay it every night. It used to say an expensive price, and I pay it every night. And right before the record was about to be mastered, the day before, I was like, no, I got to change that line. I will not pay that price every night. I will not. So I went in and I changed that to I used to pay it every night. So I don't have to live in that reality. And I really believe that is true. So like, when you said the songs on the ride were more of a spiritual vibe, the words that we chose for that record are deliberate. You know, we really wanted to bring the essence of that into the world and not bring things that could, because I've had songs that I've written that were negative that came true later. And I always wondered, like, I would write these songs and then that shit comes, like, even 5 years later, that shit's happening now. You know what I mean? Like, so, and I didn't understand it, but like, now that I know how important that stuff is, I don't, you know, I just really watch the things that I say in explaining anything about my life. You know, and it's one of the things that I spread to other people is to get to change that kind of language around your life, because you can really build so many great things. I've got like signs up on I have this big whiteboard that I look at all the time, and it says stuff up there like the universe has my back. So then I believe it, and then the universe always has my back. You know what I mean? It really works. I don't know why.
You know.
Yeah.
The
affirmations work.
Absolutely, 100%. You know, sometimes I feel like shit, and I just have to tell myself, like, I'm gonna get through. I feel like shit now, but I'm not gonna feel like this 20 minutes from now, half an hour from now, or whatever. You know, like, just keep going. You know, I think
keep going. You know, when I feel terrible about some shit, I pull out a journal and I write all these things I'm grateful for. Because I want to change, I want to get out of that fucking mindset, and I know that I have the tools to change what my brain is telling me instead of being a victim of it.
Well, and
so
you know, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
It just brings you back to that kind of, you know, you have to grow off of your experiences. There's no forgetting it necessarily. Like you don't have to wash it all away, but you know, same thing. You had breast cancer. I'm a brain tumor survivor. You know, you can't ever forget things like that, but you have to say, okay, shit, this happened to me, and that was a life changer. I'm here now. I need to do better. I need to make sure I'm better.
Stronger because of it. I'm stronger because of it. I'm better because of it, rather than being a victim of it that is too weak to face life because of it.
Yes,
absolutely.
I think that victim. I kind of struggle with this because there is a victim piece to this. You know. PTSD, mental illness, all are traumatic, horrible things that can essentially rip a person. I lived it, I've seen it, I know it, but yeah, it's taking that time and reaffirming to yourself that you're better than what is stuck here. You know, you can grow beyond that.
You deserve it. That you're worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're worth it. That's absolutely correct. You are worth it. And every single person's worth it, you know.
Every single person is worth it. Every single person has it in them to be worth a good life on this planet. And that doesn't mean bad things don't happen. Bad things happen all the time. It's like, how do you walk through it though? And how do you grow from it rather than letting it destroy you? Yeah. It's incredible. I love it.
And when you come out of things so positively like that, it all comes back to that connection base as well in that community. Right. You know, you shine a positive light on other people who, again, want to make that same change and do better for themselves. It's just a domino effect of it's beautiful. Yeah.
I've been seeing friends on the Facebook like that, and then they're just like complaining about their lives, and then I just like I watch for a little while and then I reach in. Can I help you like a little bit? Can you try some of these things? I don't know why they work, but they do. You know,
hey, I'm going to say one thing with this though, just a little thing, which is that even with all of the positivity and everything, it is important to allow the pain.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, absolutely.
And allow all of the difficulty. And you know, I can tell just from this group of people, I mean, with cancers and trauma and brain tumors and everything, there is something about being in the reality of experience too, and not just completely covering over with positive thinking. You know, we can actually be in our experiences too and allow painful, difficult experiences to happen. You know, like depression, we don't need to stigmatize whatever experience we're having. Like we can have a bad day too.
Yeah,
it's okay to have a bad day.
I think it's
as well as understand that we are resilient. Life can, you know, it's sort of like in Buddhism we call it the 1,000 joys and 1,000 sorrows. You know, sort of like having the balance between understanding
I think it's
complexity of life.
allowing that pain, recognizing that pain, I think is a huge piece of that. For myself,
Yeah, because
it only
that's
speaks
where
for
you
myself.
grow. Yeah, that's where you grow the most from, is from the
Yeah,
pain.
those are your roots, you know. That's never leaving you.
Makes
That's
you
what
feel
creates all of the positivity that stems from that. And again, too, like for me and for you guys as well, obviously from this conversation, community and connection is such a big thing. A lot of people that, like you two said, that's how you met over your drama. You're connecting over, you know, tragedy and negative things in your life, and you've changed and you built something positive out of it, you know. And I think that's important for a lot of people. Like, yeah, we go through shitty experiences, and it's important for us to talk about these shitty experiences and to own it and to figure out how we can, you know, really adapt from it. Like Soma said, it's something you never, you know, you have to still shine the light on that. You can't just focus all on the positivity.
100%. You can't. There wouldn't be positivity without negativity. You know,
Absolutely.
there wouldn't be. But I just do believe that the magic is in overcoming. You know what I mean, and trying to push through in the best ways. You guys, you know what? I have. Can you see me?
Yes.
Okay, I cannot see you anymore. Something happened where I'm just looking at a Zoom page. Do you know how to get back? Huh?
Is it like a separate window, maybe?
Let me see. It says, oh God, this is just terrible. I'm like back at the Zoom page. It just says Zoom on it.
Okay, so if you click on the bottom, you'll see like kind of where your computer tab comes up. You'll see where it should be like a little camera. If you want to click on that.
Oh, yeah, I'm back. All right, great.
I have to plug in my computer real quick.
No worries. This is live TV. This happens
Yeah,
all the
Terry's
time.
our tech guru too. Terry fixes all the problems for us.
Well, you know, like I still have a brain that most of the time when I wake up tells me that I don't feel good and I should just stay in bed today. Today is a day where I just don't do anything. Let me just check out today.
Yeah.
But then I have to remind myself, no, you like doing things. Get up. You like doing things, you know what I mean? Like, so I totally understand that. I understand that, like, that's my person. That's just who my wiring, you know what I mean? And everybody is wired differently. But just having some of the tools that I now have to get through life, where before, you know, I only said that my life was miserable. And now I say that my life is great, because it really is. And I don't have much, but the things that I do have are so worth it. You know, like,
Having that
so,
gratitude
yeah.
is super important too, even for the small things. Even, yeah, I mean, I get up and I make my bed every morning, and I'm very committed to making my bed every morning. It's such like a simple little thing, and I'm always going to have my cup of tea. I'm grateful for my cup of tea. And, you know, it's just like little tiny things like that. And it really does make a difference and matter, having little routines and caring about people and all of that stuff. I fully hear you on all of this.
I think
And I
it's
love that
so
you always
important.
smell roses. And
I do, yeah. My
that
connection to
matters in
nature
life,
is
for
incredible.
sure.
Yeah. I go out and I'm like, I could just look at the trees and be like, oh my God, look at you. You know? But
like
you know
that.
what I mean? But I push myself too. Like, I'll notice all of a sudden that, like, I am in a dark space, and all of a sudden it's like, what happened? It's like, okay, well, you haven't been journaling. You haven't been doing yoga. You haven't been meditating. You haven't been eating well. Like, so what do you think is going to happen? You're going to feel like shit, and you're going to turn to the dark side.
And it's
so,
right.
you know,
I
I have
working out every day, but I do it so I don't carry the anger and the stress of my day with me.
so true. Yeah. You have to get it out.
Yep. I totally understand that for sure.
Yeah.
So we are running a little short on time, but can you ladies tell us how can we get a hold of you if we want to? How can we get to your site?
I think one of the best places to follow us and contact us and stay in touch with us is really through our Instagram. And that's _sidewalk_project. And that's like constantly updating. And then you can even join one of our little groups and, you know, stay up to date with us. And then there's also our website, which is the sidewalkproject.org. And, there's also a button on there for our PayPal, I think, but I don't think our wish list or anything is up there right now. But those are the two best ways to reach our project. Yeah. Do you have anything else, Stacy? I mean, you could also reach out to Stacy and I too if you wanted to.
Yeah, if you wanted to separately via the Instagram is probably pretty good, or bad cop email if you had that.
And
Yeah.
what time is Save Tuesday or Tuesday Save?
Take Care Tuesdays is
Take Care
3
Tuesday.
o'clock. Yeah. It's Pacific Standard Time. Daylight time is what we're in right now. So just Pacific time on where we live. 3 o'clock in the afternoons on Tuesdays.
Yeah. Live stream. I think that's all from us, right?
Yeah.
Oh, and Saturday nights at 8 if anyone wants to come Zoom with us and join our community if they're more serious about doing sort of social activist work on the street.
Well, ladies, again, I want to say a huge thank you from all of us here at Punksylvania. What you're doing is truly a gift. I definitely believe that we as humans can give out little gifts everywhere. Kind of like I tell my kids, did you fill your bucket today? And that's what you've done to help other people. And every day they're like, no. So then they'll go and give somebody a hug or like pick flowers for weeds out the neighbor's yard or something. Just a little tiny. But what you guys are doing, it's this on a much grander scale. So I want to thank you for filling as many buckets, including my own today. My bucket is filled. So again, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for wanting to talk to us to get a little bit of more information about what we're doing out into the world. It really means a lot to have you ladies believe in what we're doing, especially in the punk rock community. It really is cool to be here.
Yeah, thank you for taking the time with us and so much time to really dig into conversation with us. It's really appreciated.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3. They maybe worn out and they're rough around the edges, but to me they feel brand new. They may be stylish, but I don't care, 'cause I'm doing fine without you. Wearing high tops, they ain't high heels, and we're aiming for the sky. My laces are done up and my boobs are perky, going out saying forget that guy. My favorite shoes, they help me walk out on you. They help me step up to be the best version of me. Got the color blue, let's let her on these shoes. I said the color blue, let's let her on these shoes. I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania. I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania.
Thanks so much, Stacy. That was amazing. I teared up so many times during that interview. It's great to hear about the houseless problem in the States and what we can do about it. And I mean, I guess not just in the States, all over the world, we can play a part. So if you want more information on that, go to the sidewalkproject.org and they can put you in touch with like resources in your area, start your own thing. I think we have plans to do that ourselves here at Punk.
Yeah, we're really looking
I'm
forward
all
to
in
that.
for sure. On the next segment, we have a new one called the Merch Table, and we're going to feature artists, record labels, all the back end that goes into creating the punk rock scene. This week, we have one of our personal favorites, Paul from Zombieteeth, and we have a really fat interview planned for this in the near future, so stay tuned for that. Yeah, let's get rolling.
I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania. I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania.
So welcome back. I'm Terry. This is Bree and Laura, and we are here with a very special guest. He is a clothing designer, photographer, graphics artist, definitely a huge hand in the scene. Welcome, Paul Smith from Zombieteeth. Paul, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, Paul.
Hi, Paul.
Hello. Am I the first Brit you've had on?
I think so. Yeah, so across from the pond.
Need a
So
little-
Paul, when and I talk about, units of measurement or money, or what a Celsius is, we will know what we are talking about. We don't know what these are in American, so we'll apologize for that in advance.
I love how we have like 4 different accents all on today.
Yeah, this is really cute.
And mine's like super thick right now just because I've been back from home, so I've been for a whole week. So
I feel like mine is always just so New York.
there's
you know?
sometimes I'm like, there it is, and New York's coming out.
I was at my parents the other day, and I said something, and they just both looked at me. They were like, wow, that was heavy. So I'm sorry.
So
Well, hopefully people will be able to understand me.
we understand you just fine.
Yeah, we can understand you.
Jolly good.
But
Very aware that my lights are in my glasses.
Like a little disco.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
You
like a
need to
little
see-
party inside this
See all
little party.
this.
Our Sunday morning. Well, for you, it's like what, the middle of the day?
It's 4:25 in the afternoon.
Could you imagine if it was 4 right now here? No.
I just woke
So-
up.
Yeah.
Right, me
Lazy
too.
this morning.
I'm currently dying.
Excuses. All these excuses.
We are all here, actually, Paul.
We are here. We are having a great time.
Well,
So, Paul, let's talk a little bit about Zombieteeth.
Okay. What do you want to know?
Everything.
Everything.
started, where it's going.
So, okay. So, we're gonna have a little chunk from when I was like 13. Just because it was a realization when I was a bit older that it happened. I used to be before I started listening to like punk music and things. I was very into Nirvana, Pearl Jam, that kind of music, and I had like it was a diary, but it had blank pages and it was only small like this. So I used to take it to school with me, and I would draw Nirvana T-shirt designs when I was like 13, and it's all I'd do, just for specific songs, not like the band. It'd be for song names. And then years later, when I started designing, I was just like, maybe this is what I've always been supposed to have been doing, because I was doing it back then and then didn't do anything for years. But when Zombieteeth really came out was I became a single parent when I was 24 to 2 very small kids. So I was at home all the time. And then I used to use my Xbox as a way to like my social outlet. So I used to be able to talk to people on that whilst also being at home. So as geeky and nerdy as it sounds, I joined a clan, as they call them. And then we're all going to have a meetup, and it was like, oh, let's design some T-shirts so that we all look the same, and which sounds even nerdier. So I did these designs, and then a friend of mine who was at college was writing an article for their school's paper, and she said, I want to do an article on your designs. And I was like, oh, don't do it on them, because they're like, people might laugh at me. So I was like, give me 24 hours. And in that 24 hours, I came up with Zombieteeth, and I designed like 6 T-shirt designs, sent them over to her. And that's kind of how it started. They were all going to be zombie related designs, but then I kind of realized very quickly that you get to a point where it's like, how can I inject a zombie theme into this design? Because there's only so many times you can draw a zombie. So I kept the name, and then I started doing a lot of like Marvel and Star Wars designs. I was trying to appeal to the masses, and then I realized that I was much happier just doing what I wanted to do. And then that's kind of where I'm at now. I just do things that I like, and I do things that I would wear myself. And obviously from that, all this has come from it. So, so it's just something that I do. I started in my bedroom. I still do it in my bedroom. And people seem to like it. So, you know.
Yeah. So your designs, do you have themes to them? That's kind of what struck me at first, especially when I first started looking at your stuff. Mental health is definitely a big part of it. Women's rights is definitely another big part. Your connection with the Sidewalk Project, Barstool Preachers, Band-Aid Brigade. I can start going on, Pity Party. There's a lot of stuff. Bad Cop, Bad Cop. So you definitely have...
Our camp logo.
That's it.
What'd you say?
Me?
Yeah, I didn't hear you. I'm
Our
sorry.
camp logo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, this beauty right
Yes,
here.
and our camp logo. Oh my God, can you imagine? I can say that.
So yeah, it's something that was when I stopped doing like this, the Star Wars and the Marvel designs and things. I hadn't designed anything or done anything for about a year, and my mental health was not in a good place. I was at this point where I would be in bed all day. I'd get up around 2 p.m, go downstairs, play some Xbox for a little while, have something to eat, and then go back to bed. And it was a cycle that had started. And I realized, because I was starting to be, my mental state was that I was starting to think, you know, why am I here? Well, would anyone miss me if I wasn't here? Like, you know, what is the purpose of me? I'm just literally just sleeping all the time. And I realized that was a thing, and decided that I was going to make a change. I recognized that I was at the bottom. I was at the lowest that I could be, and any lower, then I wouldn't still be here. But I realized that
We have a visitor.
his face when I said that, I was like, whoa. So I decided to change things. I started joining groups and things, and started designing things that I wanted to design. You know, and I was always very angry. I was very angry when I look back at my Facebook memories. I was a very angry person, and I don't know what changed in my brain that made me decide that, you know, it's too much effort to be this angry all the time. So I'm just going to try and be as welcoming and as I can. Yeah, and then I joined a roller derby team, or derby, as they say, where you are. And I'm not getting my belly out. And because I was around women a lot, because it's a woman's team. And I just kind of began to learn that how much women have to put up with, just in general. I mean, you know, talking about, I shared my "This Is Not Consent" t-shirt design 6 days ago now. I looked earlier. I shared it 6 days ago, and I'm still getting likes on it. It's got over 1,000 shares. It's got over 2,000 likes, and yet there's still men. Listen, men. If you turn around and say that a woman, oh yeah, it's okay, you know, I understand that there's bad people in the world, but a woman should still think about what she's wearing when she goes out, then you are part of the problem. So stop messaging me about it and sort yourselves out, because I've had it all today. Again. It's just like...
Yeah, it's bullshit. You know, I could be pretty much in the teeny tiniest little thong bikini, and I am still not asking to get raped, and it's not a reason for me to get raped. You know, like anybody, any female, any male, this, you know, for whatever reason, what we wear seems to be the focal point of why we're getting raped or getting too intoxicated, things like that. It's absolutely ridiculous, that mindset, and that had to come from somewhere. It doesn't, you know, start from... It was taught. I definitely believe that. Now, there are some people that don't cross that line into raping, but we're taught from an early years, don't look at a woman like that, at their bodies, because God knows they'll make you feel and think horrible thoughts, and it's their fault because they dress that way. So, you know, but it...
Yeah. I was saying in my discussion with this guy today that, you know, it's because it's the world is a male dominated society, the thinking and the way it works. And, you know, the whole point of the design was because there was you know, the lawsuit where someone was in court and trying to get their attacker put in jail, and the person that was standing up for the person that allegedly was the attacker was holding up the woman's underwear, like, you know, like, well, you know, look at what she was wearing. It's like, yeah, but how would he know that she was wearing that?
Yeah.
You know? So I've had some interesting conversations, and I thought I was starting to get through to him. I was like, you know, it's a male dominated world. You know, everything's seen to be that women are there for the men's at the men's beck and call, basically. You know, women are not treated equally. The pay, you know, they don't get paid the same to do the same job. And I thought, I'm getting through to him. And then he came back going, well, I understand, but the gender pay gap's a myth. I was just like,
It sure is not.
Yeah.
So I just stopped replying. I was just like, you know what, I've got other things to do.
You can't really engage with that kind of, they're not willing to change their ways. You know, we can educate as much as we want, but the fact remains is that women get paid almost half of what a male would for doing the exact same job. Men are chosen, and I say 80% of times over females for doing the exact same job. And if you go to any boardroom where management is involved, it is still male dominated versus women. I've been to countless, especially my field of work, tons of meetings, and I will usually be the only one, myself or somebody else, the only female in a room full of males. And that stuff really does need to stop. You know, when we have an International Women's Day to try to explain to the people why we need a day like this.
What about International Men's Day?
Yeah, I heard that one many a times at that meeting.
Every day.
Well, and it's not even the pay. Like, even as parents in the workplace, we get looked at differently. If a male calls off sick, oh, no big deal. But if a female calls off sick, oh, she must have sick kids at home, and she should learn to, like, set something up proper for that. And, like, so even, like, that mindset is completely different.
It's,
women holding jobs, you know, well, how can she work full time if she's got 2 kids at home? Well, fuck you. You know, I have to
figure it out.
Yeah, I got to figure it out and fucking pay for my kids to eat. So, you know.
Right?
I mean, that's
God damn them.
Yeah.
That's the thing as well, because, like, you know, like I say, I was a single parent when I was 24 to 2. One was 2, I think, 2.5. One was 18 months old. And the amount of people that are like, oh, wow, you're a single parent. I'm like, yeah, loads of people are single parents. But because I'm a guy, it's like this, oh my God.
Yes.
A single parent. And I'm just like, yeah. Why are you making such a big deal out of it? So, you know, I like to, you know, I just, the same with like racism and stuff. I am a person that's I just can't get my head around it. It's just like, why are you feeling this way? I can't understand it. I can't physically compute why somebody would be so angry. Like, why someone's so angry about statues being pulled down. Why would you get so angry about that? Like, it just baffles me. It's like, you know, there's loads of other things happening in the world that you could be more interested in than
right. Like, if you just focus all of that energy that you're putting into these minuscule problems into something a little productive, could you imagine where it could be, you know?
Or put that energy into learning about the history of why those statues are there and why they should come down. Like, you want to waste energy on something, like learn some facts.
Exactly. So, you know, I never intended on being like with my designs. There was a time where I wouldn't have done designs that kind of spoke out about things because I wanted people to buy my t-shirts. But then it got to the point where I was like, but if they are offended by what I'm saying, everyone's leaving. I was like,
kind of how it goes with live TV sometimes, you know.
if they're offended by the design, then that's not a person that I want to wear my designs. So that was where the switch came, where I started trying to do stuff, and and then I started doing other things to do with like the Sidewalk project and other charities, like the breast cancer T-shirt design that Laura's got and can't find.
Campaign.
Yeah, I try to buy all of them as soon as I see them come out. I'm like, yeah, because you know what? They're designs I can get behind as a person, and they're supporting groups or charities or things like that I also can get down with. So it's like, why not? You know what I mean? So that's a no-brainer for me.
Yeah. So I'd like to do something else, because I did this, God, what, 2 years ago?
Has it been 2 years already?
Trying to think. I think I sent it over to Soma on New Year's Day 2019. So it's almost 2 years.
Wow.
And I've been talking to her about doing some other things, which I would like to do, because I can't be there. So this is my way of doing things. So.
And it's pretty awesome that you're using your talents to be able to help. I'm not a very talented person when it comes to drawing or music or anything, but I have this platform that I can pretty much say, hey, we do have Sidewalk Project as our other guest, if you've watched earlier. Fantastic. Soma and Stacey are beautiful, wonderful creatures who are, making this world a much better place. So, Paul, again, thank you for being one of those beautiful creatures trying to make this world a better place.
I try my best. That's my British in me. I try my best.
And that's all you can, right? Like, I would pick your design over my stick person anytime. And you have really nice stuff. I purchased masks. Your masks actually were going towards the NHS for doctors. Oh, I can't remember the other.
It was going to, because the website I use is American, so it was going to Medi something, possibly.
MedShare, and I think that was
and they keep upping. They were like, we're going to give a certain amount, and then that passed, so then they upped it. And I think at the minute they're at 500,000. I think.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, but then the Barstool Preachers picture disc went towards the NHS in the UK. But doing the designs that I did had led to kind of everything that, because I think that's the only thing that's actually mine solely. Everything else is somebody else's that I've done for them. So, it's been pretty insane the last year and a half, everything that I've been doing. And,
designing is only a small part of that. You also do photography now. So you've done some great work.
I do. So you got Bungle there from Barstool Preachers. It's one of my favourite photos. And and I've just had a book done. There's Amy from The Interrupters. You probably can't see him very well, but yes. And then I got my photo in the Pears album, which was insane, being as I didn't really think the photo was that good. So
that's a wicked picture.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I love it.
So, but yeah, it was just something I'd always wanted to do, and I didn't think that I'd ever be able to afford a camera, because you see these cameras and they're like 2,000 for a camera. You're like, whoa, okay, I'm not going to be able to afford that. And then somebody was like, why don't you buy it secondhand? I was like, oh, of course, secondhand exists, and they were surprisingly reasonable. So and I started doing that, and if you've listened to the podcast that I do, you'll know that my first photo shoot was with Bad Cop, and I didn't even own a camera. I'd never used a camera, really. I'd tried to use one, but I didn't know what I was doing. And a friend of mine, I'd set it up for them, and they dropped out because they got a paying job So I pretended like I knew what I was doing and went down and made out that I was I was their assistant, and that they'd been teaching me how to be a photographer or in fact I'd just been shown for like 20 minutes, like, right, just turn it to this, press this.
Make it.
Yeah, pretty much. And then it was crazy because like because it's just like the way I am. Because I knew I was going to meet them. I did this like, it's like a poster with the name, with the date of the show on and things. And I got some prints done. And when I met them, they'd been traveling all day, so they were a little bit like, who's this guy that's trying to take photos of us? They were friendly, but you could tell that they were just a bit like, we've literally just unloaded, sound checked, drove in. How long is this going to take? Like, we want to eat. We've not eaten all day. But like I say, they were very friendly, and I was wearing my Stacey D t-shirt that they were selling when Stacey D was not very well. And the first thing she did was like, she was like, "Oh, you're wearing my t-shirt," and she gave me a big hug, and I was just like, "This is insane." Anyway, so we get round, and I open this pack that I've got with those prints in, and Jenny looked at it and she went, "Oh no, I'd got my friend had bought me some guitar picks with my logo on." And he was like, "Take some down and give them to him." I was like, No. He's like, Go on. What's the worst that could happen? I was like, "Oh, all right then." And I gave him these guitar picks, and Jenny looked at it and she was like, "You're Zombieteeth?" I was like, "Yeah." She was like, "You're Zombieteeth?" I went, "Yeah." She was like, "Holy shit, dude, why didn't you say in the first place?" I was like, because I would never have thought in a million years that you'd know who I was. Like, and that just blew my mind. So yeah, so we did the photo shoot. I think I had about 20 minutes with them. And then the photos that I took one was their press photo on Fat Records for like a year, I think.
That's awesome.
I think it was this one. That I took. And and it's, and then from there I was able to get other things, and that's how I got introduced to the Barstool Preachers, really. So through that, and then I've done obviously loads of stuff with them. So
Well,
yeah.
that's awesome. So is there any other mediums that so right now we have photography, we have designing, you do have a podcast. Is there kind of other mediums you're willing to be exploring, maybe in the near future? And is there a great time being in quarantine that
Yeah, I would like to I'd like to try and do like a music video. That's something that I would like to do. I pitched one to TJ about a year ago, and he was like, I was like, "I've got this idea." Didn't tell him that I wanted to do it. I was just like, "I've got this idea that you could use for a music video." Pitched it to him, and he was just like, "Okay, let's do it." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You and me, let's do it." I was like, I don't know how to use my camera for filming. He's like, "It's all right, you'll figure it out." I was like, "Okay." So yes, music video. I've got a few ideas. It's just I've got to learn how to use my camera and
if you
things
need
like that.
help in editing and camera work, former TV producer here, so I can always give you a couple.
Yeah, Terry is definitely your go-to there.
Marcus would probably be a good resource for that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had an idea, but I don't want to give it away in case anyone watches it and goes, "Oh, that is a good idea."
That's the cool thing about this community, though, is like when you express an interest in something new or slightly like out of your comfort zone or your norm, there's 100 people like, "Hey, maybe we can help you do this. We can help you do this." They're always so like welcoming and helpful, and just kind of want to help you better yourself. I think it's cool to watch it kind of grow that way.
Well, that's how we got this far.
Yeah. It started with the 3 of us, and before we knew it for camp, we had a team of like 9 or 10 of us.
And yeah,
I think it was like 10 total. And I mean, it's like
count the side people that were
right.
Yeah, helping those people out too. So if you really look at the whole spec of things, we had a nice huge chunk of people bond. We still do. I don't want to say had. Like it's just in limbo right now. But
right.
I think you need that. It's important to. I mean, yeah, it's great to be standalone, but it's nice, like for you. You're basically like what kind of a feeling is that to have the Barstool Preachers calling you up and exchanging ideas on things? You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy because I mean, when I did the photo shoot with them, that was my second photo shoot, and at the time I'd not heard their music. Bungle's wife followed me on Instagram, and she'd bought one of my "This Is Not Consent" t-shirts, and I drew a cartoon picture of the Interrupters, and she messaged me and said, "Oh, my husband's band had really liked that," and I was like, "What's your husband's band?" And then I saw they were opening for the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, and they were playing not that far from me, so I was like, "Oh, I wonder if I could get a photo shoot with them." And then I met them, and I was just like, "These guys are like the nicest guys, so maybe I'll start listening to their music." And then, you know, afterwards, Bungle messaged me and was like, "Oh, we've just been talking about you. We had such a good time with you." I was like, "Really?" I don't think I actually really did anything. I was just taking a few photos. And it kind of built from there. You know, they played in my hometown, and I went down again and met up with them and took some photos of them and things like that. And then beginning of this year, I was down the south of the UK where they're from, and it was TJ's birthday, and he was like, "Oh, do you want to come? I'm having a party. Why don't you come along?" And I was like, "Wow, okay." That's like, I was like, "Why is he asking me?" And I went expecting there to be a party, and it was literally me and the band. And I was just like, should I be here? Why am I?
Are you in the band?
Yeah. Well, we were chatting away, and then I heard, because it was after I'd done the Peanuts t-shirt design for them, which wasn't even a t-shirt design. I just drew it in the hope that they would share it, and then it became a t-shirt design. You know, and it became this thing, like, you know, people just like, I want it. I was like, wow, okay, this is weird. I've never had this much exposure to my artwork, and it's like people seem to enjoy it, you know. And while I was there, TJ was chatting to someone else, and I just heard him go, "Oh, Paul's our official designer now." I was just like, "What?" He was like, "What about guitarist?" He's like, "Can you play the guitar?" I was like, "No." I was like, "I can play the bass though." And Bungle just sat forward and went, "No." And sat back. I was like, "All right, okay." But yeah, it's kind of weird. And then they were like, you know, "Why don't you come on tour with us?" I was like, "Really? Like, why?" It's like, why? Why do you want me to come on tour? And yeah, and that was the last thing I did before lockdown. I just spent 3 days with them.
And, you know, I'm sure it gives you more of a sense as to, like, who they really are as people and as a band. So if you know, when you do future work for them, I think it'll be maybe a little different than what you kind of originally started doing, since you do know their personalities and their ins and outs a little bit more. So I'm excited to kind of see you guys continue working together.
Yeah, I had a phone call off Bungle actually on Thursday night with an idea he's had, but only me and him know about it so far. So no, it's just an idea.
Stuff.
We've got to concept it out, and then if it looks okay, then maybe it'll become a thing. And it will be kind of cool if we were on the phone for quite a while. So.
Well, we can't wait to see it, whatever it is.
So, and they push me as well. You know, it's easy to get into the same old thing. You know, when you're designing for yourself. I mean, I don't know whether, because I see it through my own eyes, but I don't know whether I feel like all my designs look the same. So I don't know if people look at my designs on my website and feel like it's not just me doing them. But I think doing work for other people pushes you to work differently. Like this is like, you know, this is completely different to what I normally do.
I love it. Oh, my favorite.
And you know, and the the picture disc is completely different, and the Band-Aid Brigade thing, you know, and the Band-Aid Brigade thing just came out of the fact that I saw that they didn't have a logo on their Instagram. So I messaged Zach and said, do you mind if I have a go at doing a logo? And now, I don't know, now it seems like anything they want doing, they always come to me. I'm just like, really? Like, I don't know. I've never been a person that's expected anything. So when somebody asks me for something, I always question it. I'm like, why me? You know, because you know, my childhood and everything was fine, but my adult life is where my life kind of changed a little bit with the mental health, and you know, I've got 2 failed marriages, and you know, I was a single parent for however long, and you know, one of my child's friends showed up about an hour ago looking for my son who was with his mum, and he got nothing on his feet. And he was just like, okay, no worries, he's not in. Started walking away. I was like, are you okay? He was like, yeah. I was like, you got nothing on your feet, are you okay? And he was like, yeah, just some things at home. I was like, well, come on in. And I think he's still here. I think he's downstairs. I put him in front of the Xbox and give him a drink, and my son's come back, and so yeah. But yeah, it's just like, so I never expect. I don't know. I would hate to fall into that mindset of expecting something.
I think that's why people love you,
Right.
is because you're not. You're the furthest thing from selfish or self-centered. You know, you're across the pond from us, but like you're always so worried, and not worried, but like focused on how everyone else is doing and what you can do to kind of help, and that speaks volumes to people.
Yeah, I know. I will, if I see people posting on Instagram, even if I don't even know them, saying that they're having a tough time, I'll always message them and be like, you okay? You know, and you know, going back, you know, obviously, you know, I'm using my Steve koozie, you know, and when that happened with Steve, like, that kind of encouraged me to do better. I know that I didn't do anything wrong. So anyone that's watching this that doesn't know, there was a guy called Steve in the community over there. Never met him in person, but he was the most encouraging person I would ever meet. Like, he was always there to be like, do this, do this, do this. You can do it. You can do it. And yeah, and I spoke to him because he'd post a picture of him wearing a Bomb Pops hoodie, and I was wearing the Bomb Pops hoodie the same day. So I sent him a photo, and I was like, dude, twinning. And I was like, and then that was a Thursday. And then on the Friday was when he took his own life. And it was just like, I would never have known from speaking to him. Never in a million years.
Yeah, that was one of those things too. Same boat. Like Steve was in California. I'm in New York. We had a really great connection over art and music and stuff too. So that was like, Jesus Christ, you know, when you can't kind of be there for people that you feel were there for you through a lot of things, you know?
Yeah, and he was there for a lot of people, you know, and it's one of those things where people don't realize how much of an effect that they have on people. You know, and I'm the same. I still, when I'm having a dip in my mental health, I'm constantly questioning, like, why does anyone even think about me? Like, when I'm kind of go quiet or whatever, you know? And and it was, you know, because the news went out on a Wednesday, and I got a message. I've been to a show. I've been to see OG Kubo Station, and I got home. It was a great show. Took some photos, and I got a message off Jenny Cotterill. I was just like, why is Jenny messaging me? And she was like, you know Steve, didn't you? And I was like, yeah. And she told me, and I was just like, whoa. And then for like it was a good job I had the next day off work, because I was up all night, just people messaging me there because they knew that I knew him. You know, I was talking to Polly from the Bomb Pops because they had a really big like friendship and things. And it was just, everyone was just like, whoa, like this is insane. Like, how did we not see that coming? You know, but then did he see it coming? You know?
Well, we're masters of disguise when we want to be.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's one of those things too, is it's like you're going around in your head, like, were there more things that I could have done? How could I have like picked up on these signs? Were there these signs, you know? And I just think that like as people, we just have to, how are you? You know, that means a ton to some people, you know?
Yeah. And that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I do it, you know?
Because social media, we're always trying to put our best foot forward. So you don't really see the shit that's really hiding behind, you know. We're always putting pictures where we're smiling or I've done this thing or whatnot, you know, but half the time, how do I really feel? And, you know, having that one-on-one, that personal talking connection, I think it's so vital. You have to be able to talk to people or even just listen. Don't just go by what's being put out. There's always something in the back, you know?
That's why I became very vocal about it. Not necessarily, you don't really see me talking about myself that much, but I will promote talking about it. I mean, a few weeks ago, I made that post on Facebook, which is rare because I will talk about it as if it's a separate entity to myself. I will talk about reaching out to people. But I'd got to that point where I realized that I was in a space where I was just like, and it was just, I just had this sadness, just felt just sad. Like the kind of, everything was being kind of pulled out of me. And made the post. A few people you know, got all the comments on it, and a few people reached out and spoke to me and things. And, you know, and it does help, you know, it helps to talk, which is why I'm very big on that, you know, and I try. I'm very much an empath. Like I almost cry at the stupidest things. Like I watched The Decline live at Red Rocks. I almost cry every single time when I see Fat Mike and how much fun he's having.
I was there.
Yeah, but you were there. That's why I'm crying, because I wasn't there. But like, just that you can see the joy in Fat Mike's face when like the song drops and then you've just got the orchestra and he's just like, you can just see that he's just like, this is amazing. And I get emotional about that because I'm just like, oh, they're having such a good time. Like, it's so good. So yeah, so since I had kids, I've become a bit of a mess like that. Like, you know, but what can I say?
Always wish you had other parts of, like, you know, I find I'm still a bit of a robot that way. That deep inside, I really want to help. Like, I remember when you put your post out, I thought that was incredibly brave. You know, not a lot of times do people go out of their way and say, I'm not doing the greatest right now. Like, that I don't feel great, you know, and this is kind of what's going on, and talk to me, don't talk to me, it's fine. I just kind of need to get it out there. I know I reached out as soon as I saw it because I was like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, I was like, dude, I love you.
But, you know, a lot of people just kind of go, oh, fuck, what a drama llama. You know, and no, when you're putting out yourself and a piece of your soul, I'm always like, oh, everything's hilarious and funny. And I wish part of me sometimes being like, no, I don't feel great today. I actually feel like
I have a habit of making jokes about everything.
Yeah, you know, and
and everybody copes different too.
Yeah, I mean, I make jokes with people at work when they'll talk about things because, you know, last year on Mental Health Awareness Day, I don't know if it was international or national, I couldn't have said it because I'd have got too emotional about it, but I wrote it all down. I was like, told everyone when I hit rock bottom and how I felt and all this stuff. And so they knew, and there's people that I work with that knew that I was like suffering with depression and suffering really bad. So we'd talk about things and they'd be like, oh, you know, what's, you know, oh, this is happening next year or something. I'd just like, oh, I'll be dead by then. And they're just like, what? And I'm like, it's a joke. I'm not like I can make a joke about it. Don't worry. Like, it's fine. You know, it's fine to joke about, but in certain instances, you can't. And yeah, you know, but you know, hang around with me a bit longer, Terry. We'll break that.
Break the steel that's encased in her.
And get to the gooey center.
Yeah, I think, you know, after so long having to deal with shit and realizing it pretty early is kind of, I had to just harden myself, you know. Maybe it's part of me not really wanting to deal with some past issues, and I won't really deal with it today, but eventually one day I do hope to, you know, I went to therapy for years, especially over depression, loss of self-worth, destructive behaviors. So I do have a general good ideas to the steps and the tools I need. I kind of now get almost like red flags, you know, when I feel something isn't right, 99% of the time it's not right, you know, and it's learning to use those in a more constructive way. Whereas before I would pam easily a 26er and just obliterate my whole life and forget that I even existed and then give a shit. But now it's like, okay, take a deep breath, take it 1 minute at a time, 1 hour at a time, 1 week, day, you know, however long I need to just get through it and do it in a sober fashion too, which I feel it's tough, you know, like that bottle is always calling for me. It's always being like, hey, you know, this is so much easier if you forget about it all, but I won't accomplish anything. I know that what the end of that looks like, and it's never really good. So
it is kind of crazy because I mean, I've never had that. Thankfully, I've never had that. You know, when I suffer with things, I just ride it out generally, and I know things are going to get better. I haven't got that little voice in the back of my mind that's like, you know what would instantly make you feel better?
Yes.
And then you're just like, no, I don't want that, you know? So, yeah, so the willpower that you've built, like, if your willpower means that you can't be that soft, squishy thing, then
maybe
stay as you are. That's, you know, I'm not gonna encourage you to be soft and squishy if like, you know, if it causes that to happen. But yeah, it's about the little steps, you know. It's just one of them things. Gotta do it as you wish, you know. So can we talk about Jug for a second?
You want to talk about Jug?
Yeah, because
it
got a little bit thingy. Now, I think personally that's a normal sized cup because Laura's that tiny.
It's a normal sized cup.
Because Laura's so tiny, she's got a normal sized cup. But when she holds it, it looks massive.
It's huge. So it's huge.
So like, if she gave it to like one of us, it'd be like this big.
Paul doesn't know that I'm not much bigger than Laura.
I'd probably like just snap it in half.
Yeah. I'm only a couple inches taller than Laura, so
yeah, that's true.
I am a giant compared to me. I sit at a comfortable 5'7", which is the inch above average
5'7"
North America. So yeah,
I'm 6'1".
Oh,
give me 1 second, guys.
So
I'm only
it's all right.
5'3".
Wow.
Yeah, I'll see if I could pull the picture of Laura and I, and you'll see.
Oh, it's so bad.
Softness is something.
I'm
So
sorry, you guys.
That's all right. So are you allowed to go on the adult rides at theme parks?
I can. I'm tall enough.
Okay.
And I love theme parks.
Me too. When this is all over, we should meet at Cedar Point.
Oh my God, that's like my favorite place in the world. Okay.
Yeah,
There's
I always think about too, like how cool would it be to have like a Camp Anarchy or a Camp Punksylvania, but at Cedar Point on roller coasters. Could you imagine punk rock blaring as you're
there is a
down
ton of campsites around.
I know there is because it's right on the water. I love that place.
Yeah.
Maybe we're onto something.
I like the way you're going with this.
Mm-hmm.
And Erie is right across the lake from fucking Canada. We could just swing over on a boat and pick your ass up, Terry.
All right, Paul. Now the problem is getting you over here.
Yeah, I don't think the lake takes you to the ocean.
Yeah.
Any
I need
coming to our sides? pond once everything clears up.
Yeah, I need like a cannon or something, just like fire me over. There's a theme park not far from me called Alton Towers, and it's got a ride called the Smiler. And a few years ago, it crashed because they have two lots of cars, and the cars are wide, so the track's like this, and the cars are wide, and there's like 3 rows. And it's really fast, and then it stops halfway. Because I think if you went at the same speed all the way around, it'd fly off. So it slows you down and stops you, and then you slowly go, and then it does it again. And this incident, they'd sent an empty car around, and then afterwards there was a car full of people, and the car that stopped didn't move any further, so they slammed into it. And there was people at the front that like lost their legs and things. Like, yeah, like really bad.
I was not expecting you to say that.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, can I go on a fucking amusement park right now?
It's a really good ride. I've been on it a few times, but that incident, yeah, it was shut for nearly a year, and there was lawsuits and all sorts. Yeah. One of the women who lost her leg is now a model, and she does it with like her prosthetic leg and things.
Oh, that's awesome.
So yeah, it was a pretty big thing. And then now, like whenever it breaks down, everyone's like, "Whoa, oh no, I'm not going on that."
I do. I love roller coasters and all that stuff. It's super fun.
Maybe it's a punk thing. Maybe, I don't know. I'm completely hooked. My oldest is also hooked. My youngest, not so much.
I mean, my DOC is adrenaline. Always has been.
Yeah, I've been hooked on them. The only ones I can't do are the ones that go backwards. And it's only
give them all to me. I love them all.
It's only because I think after having kids, my equilibrium, you know how it changes over the years? But I used to love them, but now I can't stomach it.
See, I suffer with vertigo, and I'm all right.
You're right.
Anymore, I can't do those.
I just can't go backwards. I can go forwards fine. Just
the ones I don't like. They had one at the same place, and it was one of those ones where it's on the long thing with the 2 arms, and it'd go round like that.
Oh yeah.
But then the actual car tilts as well. So what they would do is it would tilt so you were upside down, and then it'd slowly lower you towards the ground, and then there's water that'd shoot up into your face.
Oh Jesus!
A little water while you're on the ride.
But it was the hanging upside down for an extended period of time that used to freak me out. The thought of like there's only this little thing here holding me in. But we have another one that's called it used to be called Air, and you get in it like a thing, and then it shits you up so that you're like lying almost looking at the floor.
It looks like
then it looks like you're flying.
We have
but they did it up so you wear like a virtual reality headset, so as you fly around you can look around and you're in like space and
crazy
stuff. So but yeah, and then as you come in and everything slows down and you're slowly going back to the stop, and you're still lying, and there'd be like pools of vomit on the floor where people have thrown up from coming on the ride, and you're just having to stare at it on the floor. It's like no, but yeah, I don't know how we got onto theme parks, but
I'm fine with it. So do you
I did find a pic real quick of Laura and I, so it goes for frame of reference. This is me with my head tilted, so
and that's me like up.
And I'm somewhere in the middle of that.
Look how drunk I look in that photo. That was so bad. That was like peak time during the festival. Terry and I all weekend long were just like, go.
I went hard. I lost my voice on Saturday night, and then I was just like, people are trying to talk to me, and I'm like, finally Laura's like, she lost her voice. I'm like,
see, I have the problem that I'm deaf in one ear.
Oh, are you?
Well, kind of. Certain frequencies I can hear, but I've got tinnitus or tinnitus, as I think you call it over there. But yeah, so in any loud thing, I'm just like, what? So people are talking to me, and I'm just like, so yeah, so so I try to go at the minute because I've got my camera. Going to shows on my own is great because nobody talks to me because I'm taking photos. And I haven't got to worry about being like, you know,
No,
and
I'm sorry, what?
I do
I'm
that
the
kind of,
worst.
I do that like, yeah. And I've got no idea what they're saying.
Yeah, they're
just
always like, you have no idea what I just said to you, right? And I'm like, nope.
Yeah. So
English as a second language is definitely fun for that because add some alcohol to the rest of yous and music and everything else, and all I hear is like, man. I hear lips move, but that's all I hear. I can't. There's not
brilliant. That's good. But yeah, I believe that I'm deaf in one ear because of a Vandals gig. Talking about the Vandals earlier. Yeah, show. Sorry, we call them gigs over here. I don't know.
Mine's just 20 years of shows and.
Well, that was it. When I was 17, the Vandals played in a very small bar, like probably holds 50 people at the most. Probably not even that many, and it was absolutely packed. And the only space you could stand, because it was the middle of summer, the only place you could stand to get any kind of rest, any kind of breath, was right next to the PA. So I stood there for like 2 minutes, and I was deaf for like 3 days after the show. And then this all happened about 7 or 8 years ago. It started coming on. I saw a doctor, and he was like, "So, have you been in any loud situations?" I was like, "Well, yeah, quite a bit actually, but one in particular." And he went, "Do you think that might have something to do with it?" I was like, "Maybe." So yeah, I don't get peace and quiet anymore. I've just constantly got that noise in my head. So I blame the Vandals for that.
Well, that's a perfect band to blame. Huge fan, so yes, I will.
Yeah, I feel like if you're gonna lose your hearing, it might as well make it worth it. I feel like that's worth it.
Yeah, when they played the last song, they played a cover of "Summer Lovin'" from Greece, and everyone like tried to surge the stage. And
I think I saw that tour.
It was 1997, 98.
7, yeah.
And everyone surged the stage, but we were so packed in. I literally got lifted in the pack, just lifted off the floor and taken forward. And I forget the lead singer's name. He just put his hand out because we were all piling on stage. And he just put his hand out and stopped me. And we're still singing. And I was just like, this is amazing. But yeah, it was good. Good times. Have you pre-ordered the Live Fast Diarrhea vinyl that they're bringing out?
No, but I checked it out. It's international shipping that kills me. I just bought their new the Broken Gun shirt. So I look forward, and it takes about 10 weeks for it to get here. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing it it just shipped this week, so I'll see it in about 9 weeks.
Wow.
Looking forward to it. So
have a look how much the shipping is from the UK to Canada. I know it's probably going to be a lot. I know, but I found a website that's in the UK that has like all the coloured like Fat Records and stuff like that. So I'm very excited that I found it. So I've ordered that album, and it's cost me like £20, which is what, $25, and that's with shipping.
It's almost 40.
So, but yeah, and then on Record Store Day, they're releasing a black and white vinyl of Operation Ivy's album.
Yes, I saw that.
Yeah, so I'm like, yes, having that.
Paychecks. You're all getting a piece. Well, Paul, thank you so much for coming on. Always a pleasure to talk to you. We've had these talks now a few times, but it's the first time we actually see you, so it's very nice.
I am a real person.
You are.
With a giant head.
I think it's
perfectly proportioned.
Yeah, exactly.
Can you see? Look, can you see? I've had to modify my cap so it'll fit my head. My head is that big, and I've got a face mask that is too small, and it's like, So I've got a big head. So anyway, that's a story for another time.
Face mask. Paul is selling face masks. Where can we find your stuff, Paul?
That's a seamless link. You see, I knew there was a reason I said that. So let's think. So I'm on Facebook, but I don't really use my Facebook page a lot, but I'm on there. Instagram, Zombieteeth Clothing. You can go to zombieteethclothing.com to find my wares. My podcast is on Spotify and it's on a few others, but I don't really know because the place I upload it to does that for me. So, but it's definitely on Spotify, and that's the Zombieteeth podcast. And that's about it, really. So Instagram's the thing I'm most active on. If you go on there, you'll see me arguing with idiots. But I'm very nice, really.
You are very nice. One of the nicest dudes in the scene. So
Yes, 100%.
Thanks. Just shame I'm over here and everyone's over there.
I know, you gotta come for a visit. Like we said, if you come, we're buying your pass at Camp Punksylvania. So look at maybe August next year.
I have been looking. I've just got to see if I've got some pennies. So yeah, TJ, I spoke to him yesterday. He told me that I should wear fancy dress for this, and I didn't. So I apologize.
You should have worn a fancy dress.
Yeah,
Just-
so it's fine.
Well, we're going to have to tell TJ. He's going to have to come on, and he is going to have to wear a fancy dress.
He did mention it because I mentioned that was coming on, and he went, oh yeah. And he's like, I don't know if I'm supposed to be doing that. He said apparently Travis put me forward as well. He's like, is everyone pimping me out? I was like, pretty much.
Especially if he's in a fancy dress.
We talked about it a little bit, but he's a busy guy, so
he is.
Reach out when he's ready.
Yeah, he's doing a bunch of things that aren't music related at the minute as well. So he is a busy fella, but he's a lovely fella, and Borstal Preachers have been insanely good to me over last year. So, but anyway, I'm talking again.
All right, guys, make sure you check out Zombieteeth on Instagram. Check out the podcast on Spotify, all those good platforms. Buy some stuff. He's got some great shit, and we'll see everyone soon. Thank you, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Thanks, Paul.
Kids need new shoes. Buy some.
I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania. I wanna go to Camp Punksylvania.
Thank you so much, Paul. That was great. Everyone make sure to go check out Zombieteeth's website and snag something awesome. I think we can all say we've got at least one rad piece of apparel from Paul. So again, make sure you go head over to Sidewalk Project. Get involved whatever way you can. There's so many different things you can do. If you can't actually get out there, at least be sure to go give them a follow and stay up to date with everything that they're doing because it's a great cause. What else, ladies?
Well, next time on our next show, we have it's actually a special kind of episode. We've never done anything like this.
Yeah, that's true.
So I don't know who wants to throw it out.
I will actually, because I'm super excited about this. This is a band from Albany, New York, which is right near where I'm from, so it means a little more to me. After the Fall is releasing a brand new album. Comes out August 7th, and we're actually going to be working with them to put out kind of like an album release party, I would say. We'll be doing a full-blown interview with the guys and ladies of After the Fall, talking about all sorts of stuff, recording their latest singles they're putting out. We're going to give you guys some new music videos from them. It's going to be all about After the Fall. And that is actually not going to air on Thursday. That's going to be a Friday episode this time. It'll come out August 7th, and it'll be right on our YouTube, like always.
So make sure that you check out Punksylvania, Camp Punksylvania. If you like our stuff, subscribe to it. And we will see you guys next week. Bye.
Bye.